What's up, everybody? It's the Arty 84 show live here from our caverns of non-exclusion. As always, to the left of me, I have Adam the Mallet in his
Hello?
bunker, if you will. And we are live. It's episode 170. It's amazing. It's quite the milestone. I look back on it, the longest I did a show for consecutively was 165 episodes, and it was the Adult Entertainment Show with our friend Brianna, your birthday twin. And
Right.
Yeah, Ewan.
There are two people, actually. There's three people that all together that have the same birthday. Me, Brianna, and Eric's old friend.
Yes, the doctor.
The doctor. Yeah, Todd.
Yeah.
I don't know if his name.
You guys are all born in different decades, which is actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
He was born in the 70s, you were born in the 80s, and she was born in the 90s. Very interesting. She's been busy fighting for dad's rights. Oh, damn. Okay. That's what Alex has been lately. Are you having, you probably don't want to get into too much detail over the air, Mr. Wallace, but good luck. Dad's rights in Massachusetts suck. If you're a dude in Massachusetts, you don't have the upper arm. The baby mama is literally got to be like a drug addict who's like about to go to jail, and even still, you might have problems getting custody of a fucking kid.
Fuck Alex, man. That's tough. It's a tough uphill battle, but you can win. You can win. You got to really fight for it, but you can win.
Yeah, you can do it. You just need let us know if you need any help from the Arty 84 show. We'll be more than happy to help you. I don't know if I would be a good person to.
It could hurt you.
So it's hurt you. Yeah, so maybe you should.
Not for help, but
if we could help you, we'll help you.
Yeah.
But also people needs help. My cousin Brittany needs help, but you already know. So she's in a contest right now, and it's a cook-off contest. So, and she's a pretty good cook. She cooks a lot of good meals. That's like being a stay-at-home mom now. That's all she does is cook, it seems like. So she's in this contest where they're going to pick like winners, and they're going to kind of like that baseball contest I was in a couple of years ago. Same idea. So she needs you to vote for her. So if you go to the Wicked Explorers Instagram, which is obviously the Wicked Explorers Instagram, and click on the link in the profile, you can vote for her. You can vote for her once a day, every 24 hours. And if you're watching this on Facebook Live and you're on the Arty 84 page, then I have a link on a picture I posted right below this that you can do. And you can vote for her there. So vote for her because she promises to cook a meal for everyone if she wins. So I know Adam's going to take her up on that. She makes like a really mean steak and like surf and turf.
What? No, I was thumbing through our friend K.A., who the former cease and desist girl.
Oh, yes. So how has that been?
I was like, now might be a good. It's been a couple, like a month or two since the last time I did this. So let's see what we got.
So
right?
Bringing her up to speed, K.A. is a girl who gave us the cease and desist 4 years ago this month, because she was ranting on Twitter or Instagram or something like that, and we screenshot it on the radio show page, and we thought it would be funny to kind of poke fun of her a little bit because she did share her stuff out there in public. So it's now public, stuff. So we did that, and then she got very angry with us and gave us I don't know if it was a cease and desist order. Probably made it up on Instagram or on Photoshop, but yeah. So you think she should be better right now because now she hated Trump and she hates Republicans. So now her people are in office. They have the majority in the House and the Senate and the presidency. How could she possibly be upset these days?
Oh boy. So let's see. It's looking for a juicy one. Okay, so her recent one was 7 hours ago. Rush Limbaugh died. She just said good.
Jesus. All right.
Republicans are the cancel culture party, quite literally.
But they're not, though. It's the liberals that are canceling everything. So she's wrong twice. Okay, can she bat 1,000?
5 days ago. All I can think of. Do you like how I read them?
Yeah. That's like what she sounds like, I bet. I never heard her in real life before, but
I'm just giving her the girly girl, valley girl voice. It's probably more annoying, but yeah. All right. So all I can think of is Charles Manson being pissed, watching the impeachment trial, being like, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah. Exactly. To the T, right? Okay. Any more juicy ones? Because right now she's just irritating me at this point.
Okay, so if Trump didn't cause the attack on the Capitol, then what caused it? What made those people so angry and violent that they attacked Capitol Police and massive destruction on the Capitol building?
Right? Yeah, but the riots are okay when they burn down a Target and a Wendy's, because like that's like, that's justified, I guess. Well, look, KA, by the way, Alex Wallace wants to know KA. KA is a lady that none of us have met. A former co-host E Powers tried to have sex with on the extras when they were extras for Grown Ups 2. And she's a comedian, like all these fucking goofballs we've had on the show. Half of them are actually comedians and half of them are like KA, who say they're comedians, but maybe do one open mic every year or so. And, I don't know why this girl's so angry. Like,
she doesn't like Pelosi, believe it or not.
Really? What's she bitching about Pelosi for?
Well, she just said, I don't agree. I don't agree with a lot of what Pelosi says, but her petty skills are on point, and I am here for it. And she took a picture of McCarthy fails to lead hands, keys to party to green. I don't know.
That's funny because McCarthy was a communist back in the 1960s. McCarthyism was basically his idea and was basically a form of United States communism. So that's always good. Yeah. She's you would think, like, because here's the thing. I'm going to give this they probably have about 3 more months left of this, because and you can see this with like mainstream media. They loved when Trump was president because they gave him stuff to talk about. They gave him news, gave him stories, right? And now he's gone, and
what they got? What are they gonna do?
Yeah, and he can't tweet anymore. He can't talk anymore. So people, they don't have anything to talk about. So now they're starting to like, well, this is left over from him. But you only can really have. That only gives you about 3 months of mileage, because after 3 months, people are going to start looking at you like, yeah, you can't keep blaming the people who are before you, because it's at this point, you have the power to make the change or do what you have to do. So it's
we're starting to see it now. And I think that's where we're seeing stories about, people getting Gorilla Glue stuck in their hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gorilla Glue girl. Here's the thing. And so we had Gorilla Glue lady.
There's 3 of them technically now. There's the original, the black chick from Louisiana.
The black dude who put the solo cup to his lip, who came out
try to prove her wrong. And now this new Hispanic chick who was like, guys, I accidentally put Gorilla Glue in my hair. And everyone was like giving her shit because obviously she did it because...
They we could do a 3 for Thursday, and maybe a white dude from like, I don't know, Newton does the Gorilla Glue thing, and we can really cover all aspects of the world.
People are fucking stupid. Like that chick who's mad at Tom Brady who wants the apology.
So the Gorilla Glue girl is stupid. Don't put Gorilla Glue in your hair. I'm going to tell you that right now. Nothing's good going to come of it. I've Gorilla Glued my fingers together, making the Packy League trophy. So it's not a good time. So don't do it, because you're going to hurt yourself. And the lady who's pissed off about Tom Brady using the trophy as a toy must have not have seen the last 54 years of the NFL and what they did with the trophies. And she didn't get very upset with Gronk using it as a baseball bat at Fenway Park a few years ago and denting it.
I think maybe because that wasn't on video, maybe. I don't know.
I know.
You told me why. Go ahead.
I hate to like accuse people of this, and I know it goes a little deep and it's a little abstract, my idea, but there was a lot of crap about how Tom Brady was getting away of being a Trump supporter and not taking any rap of it. But he's never really, he's a long time ago, I guess he said he was a supporter, but he doesn't talk politics. And that's why I like my athletes not talking politics, and that's fine with me. And I don't care if Brady was a Biden supporter. It doesn't matter to me. He doesn't talk about it, so I don't really give a shit. But because all these left-wingers were getting upset with the fact that Brady was getting a free pass because he's fucking Tom Brady, the greatest player of all fucking time, I think this girl's a little butthurt, probably. I think maybe there's something deep-rooted in her. She's either like a Rams fan, or she...
What does she look like? Do you know what she looks like?
I thought I'd maybe seen a picture of her, but I don't know if it was her or not. She's apparently like the granddaughter of the guy who designed the trophy or something like that.
I think she's the daughter.
The daughter, okay. He says it was very disrespectful. Breaking news, by the way, from Alex Wallace. Tim Tebow retired from baseball.
Oh no!
First year in the For sure.
Arty, we're talking about the greatest players of all time here. Now Tim Tebow.
T-Brady, but he's the greatest crossover player of all time. Tim Tebow. It's upsetting that Tim Tebow never made it to the actual majors. And I'm surprised the Mets never used him as a pawn to see people to the – but –
That guy's an idiot because he could have been like I said this before. Like he should have stayed and he could have been a tight end. He's built like a tight end, but he was like, no, I want to play quarterback or fuck you. I'm going to play baseball.
Yeah,
like, I'm an idiot.
I mean, and he had a gig with like CBS or NBC or no, it was the SEC network as like a commentator. So I'm like, you could have done that too. I mean, granted, if you want to go play baseball, go right ahead, go play baseball. Minor league baseball is like a bear league. You know what I mean? Have fun, enjoy yourself. You know, make $20,000 a year. You probably don't need it, but whatever. And have a good time. Like, I mean, if I was able to afford to play like just like AA ball my entire life, I probably would. Yeah. Like, why the fuck not, right? But retiring from baseball, yeah, we seen him at. Me and Eric were supposed to see him a couple of years ago when we were down in Norfolk, which is the Mets AAA team. He had just got injured like 4 games prior to us getting down there. And we're like, oh, shit, we got to see Tim Tebow. I missed Tim Tebow play about 4 different times. I've gotten to see Mets minor league teams. I missed them, but it was never meant to be.
What's he going to do now? Let me see.
He's probably going to do SEC commentaries or be a coach or something or inspirational leaders. He seems like a cool.
He ended up getting married to some hot piece of ass, but I wonder how disappointing that, like when he lost his virginity was. It's probably horrible.
I just think about the first time I had sex with a girl in front of my.
It wasn't fun. It's over in like 2 minutes. It's like done.
The buildup and the anticipation was just like it blows your mind for the entire week. You think you're gonna have sex and you're getting all excited, and then you get down to the beans and rice of it, and it's literally like seconds.
It's breaking news too. It's been up within the half hour.
Yeah, we're breaking it for you right now. So if you're watching this live, you're hearing it first. Thank you to our on-site commentator, Alex Wallace, contributor. I used to say, not commentator. There you go.
Maybe he's going back to football. I mean, you know what? The quarterbacks right now, you never know. I mean, it's open market on quarterbacks right now.
A lot of teams need quarterbacks. You know. Whatever.
There was a fucking news tease I saw the other day, though. It was kind of funny in the end, but I kind of rolled my eyes. It was Andrew Luck. It was like 5 things that he might be things that he might be doing right now and preparing. You know, they made it seem like he was going to come out of retirement, and then you read the list, and it was like going to the supermarket, going to because he's not coming out of retirement.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, I give it from him. He was first overall pick. He was a really, really good college football player out in Stanford.
Andrew Luck was good. He just
made it to the AFC Championship several times. He unfortunately played for a shitty team who didn't really want to support him, you know, with giving him some weapons. But he made it to the AFC Championship a couple times. I mean, the guy, he's not Tom Brady.
No, but he was good.
But he was good. He's a service.
He's better than a lot of. I'd put him. He was better than Stafford.
And I never hated him. As many times as the Patriots played against the Colts, I didn't have a hatred for him, which I don't have a hatred for. Some quarterbacks I have a dying hatred for. Like when we play him, and we all know my number one most hated quarterback.
Who is it?
Currently.
Who is it?
Oh, since you asked, I'll tell you. It's what the hell's his first name? Pat. I'm gonna call him Pat because he hates it. Pat Mahomes.
Oh, Pat Mahomes. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was saying retired or current. You mean like still active?
No, Pat Mahomes, number one most hated quarterback. Not all time, because I think I would have to dig.
Dude, I hate Brett Favre a million times more.
I love Brett Favre.
He's a dick. I fucking hate Brett Favre.
I think that's why I like him, because he's such a dick. And I don't think he ever he hurt the Patriots in '97, but that was his second year or something. So, but I followed his career very thoroughly through the days of the Jets, and then when he played in Minnesota and all that stuff, and I always rooted for him because I thought he was and I loved him in Something About Mary.
Yeah, no, but I didn't mind him until he became an attention whore. And every year for about 4 years, he was like, I don't know if I'm going to retire, and everyone would have to wait for Brett. Yeah. And it was like Brett watch every year if he's going to retire, and then he wouldn't. That went on for 4 years in a row.
Yeah, he did a disservice for the Green Bay Packers for a little while because you had Aaron Rodgers sitting there for a few years on the bench. They're lucky he didn't lose Rodgers either. You know what I mean? So. But
we'll go down the list here. So we know how you feel. We all feel about Tom Brady. It's you want to hate him, but you can't. And Aaron Rodgers. Just quick takes on all of them.
It's all right. I mean, I'll take him or leave him. I don't really hate him, but I just think he's kind of a ding dong.
All right, Breeze, Drew Brees.
Love him.
Russell Wilson.
I used to hate him, but in the last few years, I've actually got a nice respect for him. I like the way he changed his game, and he's probably one of my top 5 favorite quarterbacks playing.
He warmed up. Okay.
Yeah, he warmed up to me because he was a little cocky coming out of college, but I think nowadays he's kind of like,
Roethlisberger.
Same way. I used to hate him, and he kind of warmed up to me because now he's on the downfall of his career. I just think he was a doofus.
Cam Newton.
It's the same thing. Used to hate him, came to the Patriots. Now I love him.
Yeah, I don't want him again though.
I don't want him, but I feel like he got a bad rap when he played in Carolina. I think he was probably a nicer and better guy than he really was, and then
I think he became a nicer guy. I think he wasn't always like that.
I think you're right.
Kind of wised up. Yeah. Phillip Rivers. He gets in his own way.
Yeah, he just you kind of feel bad for the guy because he gets so close but so far away.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I kind of hate him. He was the opposite. I liked him a lot when he was in BC, and I liked him in the beginning of his career, but he became kind of an arrogant dick towards the end. And then us beating the shit out of him in the Super Bowl just really made me really hate him more.
Oh, I fucking hate this guy. I fucking hate Ryan Tannehill. I fucking hate him. I despise Ryan Tannehill. Remember when he was like yelling? He was yelling at practice squad players for intercepting in practice.
Yeah.
Remember that bullshit? He's a dick. He even looks like an asshole. Ugh.
Do you want to bring in a guest? Maybe we could hold this conversation to the end, just because I know I'm waiting in the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's into sports. So yeah, we'll jump off of that for sure. Let's do it.
By the way, Brittany, we did plug you at the beginning of the show, so thank you. She is watching. Make her. And here he is, all the way from, we're not quite sure, Ben Lewis joining us live here.
Whereabouts unknown.
How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing,
great. Man? Your audio is phenomenal too. Thank you for stepping it up with the audio, because some guests sound like they're talking into a tin can on Mars, but yours sounds nice and crisp. Perfect.
Well, thank you. I try. It's all in the gaming. Like, I don't talk to anybody when I play games, but you got to have.
I was gonna say, I have one of those too, almost exactly like that one. Game headset. Yeah.
Where are you joining us from tonight?
I'm joining you guys from Arizona, but originally from Delaware.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
You might be the first person ever in the history of the show who's been from Delaware. I can tell you that. Yeah.
And you guys, Boston, correct?
Boston, yes.
Nice.
I did almost hook up with a flight attendant from Delaware many moons ago.
Oh, nice.
Yes, but that didn't work out. That's the closest I got. You're the second closest I ever got to Delaware. So
it's good, because you might have ended up trapped in Delaware had you have hooked up with this flight attendant, because what happens is you meet a girl from Delaware, then you hook up with her, then somehow she's just automatically pregnant. Even if you use protection, then you're stuck there.
I've heard that story before.
So you dodged a bullet.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Delaware. So at the first time, my entire life, the most I ever seen to Delaware was that small portion of I-95 that runs through between Maryland and New Jersey. When you go over the bridge and you pay like $90 in tolls to for 10 minutes.
Uh-huh.
But my buddy and Eric and I went on a road trip last summer, and we drove. We were going down to Norfolk, Virginia, so we took the Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel that's over there. But we had to cut through Delaware, and we had to cut through a substantial amount of Delaware, like the entire coast. And I was like, well, not what I expected. I don't know what I expected, to be honest with you. I remember seeing a nuclear power plant as we were driving down like this road and fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, and then I remember growing up, like being from Delaware, the first thing I would tell people when I'm from Delaware is like, oh, you mean like from Wayne's World? And I'm like, come on. Like,
I'm from Delaware. Yeah.
It's not that bad, but
were you were you like northern Delaware? So at least you had some like Philly cred? Or were you like central Delaware where you're like, you're fire in the middle of nowhere?
Oh, I was right smack dab in the middle of Delaware. Matter of fact, I'm from Dover, Delaware, and my name being Ben, I would get that joke, hey, Ben Dover, like all the time. And I'd be like, it's so original.
Adam, Dover is the capital of Delaware, in case you didn't know that.
I know. I'm not. Why would you assume I don't know that?
Most people think it's Wilmington, and they'd be incorrect.
That's an easy one to remember because DD, Dover, Delaware, it just goes together.
And I'm fascinated about the Newcastle Circle. Do you guys know about? You must know about that, Ben. The Newcastle Circle.
What is that?
So
I might know about it.
The top of Delaware is rounded like a penis head, is because when they were doing the borders of the state, they had 20-mile radius from Newcastle, Delaware, that was going to be the border of the top of Delaware.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's why it looks like a little peepee.
I did not know that.
I had a book about how states were shaped. It was a nice bathroom read.
Oh, good.
It's like a toilet read.
Yeah, it was great because you could go there and be like, oh, let me read about like Delaware. And, it's a quick like 10-page read, and some facts, and you could use. First time I ever used this, so it worked out, I guess.
There you go. When I was in elementary school, I had a teacher who was from the Pennsylvania area, and she said that kids from Pennsylvania thought that Delaware was a suburb of Philly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, did you grow up as a Philadelphia sports fan, or were you like kind of?
No, I've been a troll most of my life. So everybody who's like, go Philly, I would purposely not like the Philadelphia teams just to watch people get so upset about it. It was so great.
I mean, they were the lovable. I mean, I guess they weren't very lovable. They were just losers back in like the day. And so they got a, 80, I think they won the World Series, right? And then the Eagles had a little run back in the 80s as well. And then they just sucked for many, many years, and they got so close.
Yeah, I heard a story that one of the receivers that dropped the ball in the Super Bowl, that his barber wouldn't cut his hair anymore. Because he dropped the ball. Yeah, because they dropped the ball, which would have won them the game the one time they went to the Super Bowl. When Donovan McNabb was there.
Oh, that time. Oh, we're talking about when Adam and I's beloved Patriots killed him in Super Bowl. I think that was 38, if I know exactly. I know exactly what it was. Do you know what happened during that Super Bowl? That was the Janet Jackson titty Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And I got yelled at, and I was dating this crazy girl from Connecticut that I met on spring break, which is two things in a sentence that no one should ever say in real life.
Agreed.
So we were watching the Super Bowl, and DVR had just come out. Like, this was like a new thing where you could pause live TV, because it was 2005. And we were watching the game, and someone's like, "Oh my God, a titty!" And I was like, "What?" And I wasn't paying attention, so I turned around and I rewound it a little bit so we could see the titty. And I got yelled at for looking at a titty. And she didn't talk to me for the rest of the Super Bowl. Patriots won the Super Bowl. She didn't want to give a shit. Then she said, "I don't want you going to the Super Bowl parade." And I go, "Why?" She goes, "Because girls expose themselves." And I go, "That's all the reasons to go to the Super Bowl parade." But she was not very fan. She was, long story short, we didn't date much longer after that. But
I didn't see it. Yeah, that was in 04. Yeah, I didn't see it at all. Like, I remember I didn't know it happened even until later on. Like, it just got past me. It was so quick. I must have turned, but I didn't even realize it happened.
Yeah, like I was watching it with my friends, and I'm just sitting there just enjoying Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson do their thing. And all of a sudden, my friends go lunging towards the TV. And I was like, "Justin Timberlake's not that hot. What's happening right now?" And then they were like, "No, Janet Jackson showed her boob." It's like, "No, she did not." Then I had to go to YouTube, which at the time, YouTube wasn't the best. So you had to search for everything. And finally, I was like, "Oh, it's blurred. Why are we getting so excited about that?"
Like, nothing like seeing a 50-year-old woman's saggy nipple. I
know. But that actually was a fantasy fulfilled for like numerous people in the 80s. You grew up in the 80s.
How old are you? I'm gonna say probably around our age.
Yeah, 39.
We're in our mid to late 30s as well. So yes, we grew up of Janet Jackson in the late 80s, early 90s, kind of shaking on MTV and stuff. So yeah, I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. So yes, there was a fantasy fulfilled. And back in 2005, I mean, it was still the renaissance of internet pornography. So it was still tough to get stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't as relevant available as it is these days.
Oh, I know.
I mean, you ever just think back like to like our adolescence days when we were just like young men,
finding porn in the woods.
Oh, yeah. So we were like kids on the Oregon Trail, just trying to find a nipple on primetime TV.
Oh, I know. Looking at the little squiggly lines.
Yeah, the scramble.
Hoping you timed it right so that it went to the live TV before the next show came on.
Spice Channel. Oh yeah.
The kids these days don't know the torture and the hell that we had to go through. You know what I mean?
I know. Like I remember.
Go.
I was gonna say I remember when like porn used to have to be like printed on the screen, like one of those old printers where like you had to sit there, and by the time the picture was done, you're like, "I finished 5 minutes ago. I saw this neck."
Yeah,
and the thing would tear through a fucking ink cartridge like nothing. Like, it was just gone. Like,
and I can tell you how like to the beginning of porn was. There was maybe 10 websites back in the day. And there was this one website that I used to go to that had like 6 free pitches. This was 1998. that we were able to go to that website from the computer labs at our middle school and look at. We would sit there on the computer at middle school, but at the time, no one knew. Like,
yeah, you just don't want to wear somebody popping in behind you. You're in a school. That's all.
But like we're sitting there and it's like the firewall and there's a bunch of dudes in this computer class and we're learning how to like use like Microsoft Office. This is the class, but like there's so much downtime in '98. We're just sitting there and I'm like, guys, I found this website. Let's see if it works. And there was no firewalls. There was no blocking websites. It was like the Wild West out there. And we're all sitting around there looking at the 5 pitches that were there. But all the buddies are writing down the website. They're going home. They're going there, loading it up and everything. You know. Those are the good old days. Now, God forbid, you type in something even close to that, they'll kick you out of school and they'll excommunicate you from the rest of the world.
Right? Like, I love the movie Step Brothers. Love it. I made the mistake of typing in Step Brothers and not put the movie afterwards. And let me tell you the videos that came up. And after about 5 or 6 of them, I was like, this might not be the Step Brothers I was looking for.
Yeah.
But the Step Brothers I needed. You know what I mean? Like,
you remember back in the day when whitehouse.com was a porn site?
Yeah.
That was like if you go to website, go to whitehouse.com and it forward you. Someone bought the domain, which was brilliant back in like the late 90s, and then directed it directly to a porn site.
Yep.
Well, I remember too, like when those old photos, when you go like the loading time, remember it would come down slowly. The photo would like so slowly load into the page. And then maybe it would stall for a minute, like maybe just around the breast line or right around the waist. And you're like, come on, fuck, you know, just wait.
And then God forbid the chick had a dick. Then you would be like, oh,
you're like, surprise. Oh,
this is not, oh.
Or maybe you liked it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You know.
I remember before like broadband came out, you had to like hook up the telephone wire for like the modem and like get a dial up. And I remember one night I'm down the computer. I was in the basement of my house and it would flash a light on the phone upstairs that someone was using the phone. And like my dad got up or something to like go to the bathroom or grab some water or something. And he seen the light flashing like at 3 o'clock in the morning. And he picked up the phone and was like, burp, 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 completely disconnected my whole download. Killed the whole moment. I was like, oh, come on. I was like, I need to start over again.
You're like, no, I was download that picture for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm like,
I got to right here. I stopped right here.
I don't know about you guys, but like when you were able to steal music, like that took even longer. I used to just like set up songs and then I'd walk away from my computer and hopefully later they would all download it. But the problem was when Napster got busted, it was still up, but they would like rewording the title names of songs, right? So that way to try to get it through. But then you wouldn't know if your download would come through okay and it was actually that song. You could be trying to download a, I don't know, just trying to think of a random song, like, I don't know, frickin' Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. It'd be like Teen Spirit Cheerleader, right? Yeah. And then you download that and it's like completely something else.
I'll tell you, the number one that got fucked up for me was I was trying to download Blink-182 Man Overboard, right? When it first came out on LimeWire. And what it would give you was Newfound Glory. What the fuck song? Hit or Miss by Newfound Glory. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And every single time I download it, they disguise it as the song. And then I finally started listening to Newfound Glory. So it actually worked, whoever was doing it. Maybe it was Newfound Glory who was doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're trying to get their music out.
Yeah. So Ben, how'd you end up in Arizona?
So living in Delaware, I made like a joke type deal with my friend. I was like, hey, if we're 25 and we still live in Delaware, we have to just jump off the little bridge and call it a day because it means we're not going anywhere. So just give up hope. But I found a school out here for computers. And so I was like, I'll just apply to that school. And if I get accepted, then I'll move out there. And my cousin was like, yeah, I want to get out of Delaware too. He just got out of the military. He just finished up boot camp in the military. And I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. So we just, I got accepted to the school. So we just started looking for places and then moved out here.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know another fun fact about Delaware?
What's
the state of Delaware owns the entire river from side to side to the New Jersey border. Where most states will split the river down the middle as their boundary, Delaware in their boundary has the river all the way to the opposing boundary. So back in the 90s, they were dredging Delaware to make the river deeper for bigger boats to come through, and they put all the stuff they dredged from the bottom of the river on the New Jersey side. That was technically Delaware land. So there is a piece of Delaware on New Jersey.
Well, that's cool.
There's another fun fact for you about Delaware.
I need to get that book because I just want to be able to throw out that random knowledge.
Yeah, it's fun facts there. What part of Arizona you at?
I live in Gilbert, which is like, I guess, the suburb of Phoenix. It's probably
Okay.
like maybe 25 minutes from Phoenix or so.
You gotta love the weather, right? I mean, it's a hell of a lot different than Delaware.
Yeah, I find myself being a bitch now because like it'd be like 60 degrees out here, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so cold. And I'm like, I'm so used to Delaware weather where I'd go outside 6 degrees, like, yeah, let's go play basketball in
Yeah.
shorts and a t-shirt. Like, let's do that. Now I wake up in the morning like, oh my gosh, we need to turn the heater up to like 72 because I'm like some sort of old man and I'm too cold. It
Blood
frustrates.
thins out. That's what happens. Your blood thins. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You call it a dry heat there out in the desert. A dry heat. It's 130 degrees, but it's a dry heat.
I call it nosebleed weather. That's what I call it.
It's awful. When I first moved out here, my car didn't have an air conditioner because you can get away with that on the East Coast.
Oh yeah, easily.
Like, no problem. I had to roll my window up to break a sweat, to roll my window down for the hot air to feel cold. Like, it was ridiculous. I did not realize how hot like the hot air was. It was like I was driving in an oven.
Yeah,
Never again.
No joke. I've driven around Arizona a few times in the summertime, and that heat, like literally, you get out to go to the bathroom and you come back into your car, it's like a hot box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're like, what? You can't keep kids, puppies, and old people in the car because they'll die instantly.
Oh, instantly, yeah.
Kind of whether your fart just sits there. Like your fart, if you fart, it's just you're screwing yourself. It's horrible.
It's terrible. Fucking crazy. So how long you been doing comedy for?
10 years, 10 or 11 years.
How'd you end up getting into it? Was it like kind of just one of these things you always wanted to do, or was it like, yeah?
It was weird. Like, I remember I always loved watching stand-up as a kid. Like, it was one of those things where like, oh, I love doing that. And then when I moved out here, I was like, I just need something else I want to do. And everybody always tells me how funny I am. And I was like, I'm the funniest person I know. I should try stand-up. Yeah. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, was like, yeah, you should. So I looked up online and found an open mic that was like 6 months out. And so I was like, okay, cool. I signed up for it. And then like the week before everything was happening, I remember like, oh my God, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. And my wife was basically like, don't be a bitch. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Don't be a bitch. And then I tried it and then nobody booed. So then I was like, okay. So I just kept doing it.
It's an addiction though.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Like I think I hate this. I guess the equivalent is like being a drug addict. I've never been a drug addict, but I guess the highs and the lows, like kind of like, cause you have the anticipation for it, you get like the anxiety and you get excited. And then when you're up there and then like when people start laughing, like you kind of, it's like a high you ride on, you know what I mean? Like if more people laughing, you kind of go off that. I mean, I get my 14-month-old kid laughing, I get excited. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
oh, I know.
Laugh, you know what I mean? So, and then it's like complete down. You get off stage and you're like, I need to do this again. And I need to do it more. And I need, more people laughing. It's like, you just need, it's tough. It's like,
yeah. And then the craziest thing is like some of the people you see who like are super funny on stage are like the complete opposite as soon as they get off the stage. And you're just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's like everybody has a different story. And I always feel like I'm not a comedian because like I don't feel like I have like a drug problem or alcoholism or anything like that. So I feel like I need something in order to like make it as a comedian.
I feel like there's a certain kind of toxicity in the community. There's a lot of them with depression issues. I feel like a lot of the ones I've known or talked to just are they got problems. Usually. Yeah.
And it's weird too because like there's a lot of people in the community that are like cool and like you can ride on them, you can help them. Everyone's helping each other, kind of thing. There's a lot of fucking assholes too. And to be honest with you, those ones I think we've had a lot on this show over the course of the 10 year of bringing comics on over the years. It's some really cool people too that we still talk to and everything like that. But there's some dicks who like, and they weren't that funny and they fucking try to cut people's knees off and
backstabby, like middle school, like a lot of backstabby. Yeah.
Shit. I've lost fucking some shows due to fucking comics saying shit that get me kicked off and stuff because of something I said on the radio show and throwing shit out of proportion. It's like why you gotta be so catty? I'm like, we're just trying to help people out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, well, fuck you too, because I had brought you on the show to help you promote, and then you're gonna come here and be a cocksucker. So it's like, okay, like what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. Is it real like cliquey in Boston area too? Because out here in Phoenix, so cliquey sometimes.
It's so cliquey. It's like if you like, I don't know how it is. God, just when I was about to get back into doing shows, fucking COVID hit. Like I had just got married, had a kid, and all this stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start opening my schedule and try to do like a mic a week just to get out there and stay fresh. And then all this shit went down. But when right before, about 4 years ago, when I was doing it like 4 or 5 times a week, and I was hosting shows and things were going great, it's very clicky. And you go to a mic. And, sign up mic, they'll pull your hats out. And, most of them are like, they'll let everyone on. But, all the people there, all of a sudden they get bumped to the list. And then you get, mysteriously taken out of the bucket and stuff. And it's like, I just wasted my whole entire night. I could have done something else. So I started just hosting my own shows. So what I do, I would just go to all these bars and stuff and be like, hey, you want to do some comedy? I'll do it for free because I want the stage time to host. And, when you host, you can get at least, 20, 30 minutes maybe just working between the comics and stuff.
Yeah,
so that's what I did. And I was like, I'm just gonna do my own shows, and I'll see if people want to do them. And we got people, and we got a lot of like decent, comics to do it as well. But it's like there's a lot of work to get there. So now I'm trying to write jokes, and I'm trying to like get people to be the show, and then I'm trying to DJ and host, and it's like it gets tiring after a while. And it's like sometimes you just want to be on a show just to make life easier for yourself, But yeah, I know how it is. It's the clickiness sucks.
It's extremely clicky. I remember I was dating a girl who was doing shows, and I used to go to a couple of her shows, and I remember the first one I went to because I was sitting at the bar before she went on with her, and people, I just the vibe I was feeling, I felt like I was being looked at like, why are you sitting here? Like it was very bizarre. I didn't like the feeling of it. And there were guys I saw with notebooks, and that's cool. Like you're into like you're writing your own shit, trying to perfect your own craft before you go on. But like there was some people I thought were taking it a little bit too seriously. Like relax.
Yeah. I did this mic once in Denver. It was funny because I was out in Denver and I was flying out. I had like a 3:30 in the morning flight. And so I checked out of my hotel room. And I went down to the comedy club, and I was just going to sit there and drink and do a show, then jump on a cab and go to the airport, like really kind of like cool, rugged, out of the middle of a road trip. So and I remember sitting there, and I was just like, I was doing the same thing, taking notes and video and everything like that. And like, you get on stage and you do your thing, you work your jokes, and you know how it is. You're in Arizona. Jokes you may do out there may drop like a rock out in East Coast, or it depends on your crowd. You got to work your material and stuff like this. And I sat there and I got off stage. I'm like, why did I just waste my time tonight? I could have slept. It was like, 2 people in the crowd, people were talking in the back and shit. And it's just like, obviously that's mics. That's how mics are. You just working material. You're not expecting too much of an outcome. But like at the same time, it's just like, I like to show respect when people are on stage. I'll listen to them. I'll take a break from writing for a minute just to kind of give them the attention. Give them some feedback. And I was always the type of person that enjoyed, if people asked me like their opinion, I'd give them some feedback, and I'd help like workshop some jokes with them and be like, oh, maybe you want to try this, move this around, kind of, I don't know, see what that works and stuff. And, but it was very tough to get that same type of, love back, I guess, people are just like, especially the young kids coming in, you're like trying to help them and stuff. And they just think they're better than they are. Oh, fuck you. Maybe you're not,
Oh yeah. Luckily, like the one place I would go to, consistently out here, I met a couple of good friends, and like so we'll workshop stuff and we'll punch each other's jokes up and things of that sort. But it was crazy because like I'm not going to name drop the place that I go to, but like we got into a big issue one time because the owner thought we were taking away from his business because like a group of us just got together, and then someone else heard about it and he went to their class, and because he went to their class and then came to our thing for free, he's like, you're going to take your money from him. It's like, no, he's just a friend of ours. And it just happened over here. We were working on jokes, and just like, hey, I'd like to come work on jokes too. It's like, we're not trying to steal business from anybody. We're just all trying to have a good time here and just help each other out. Like he's still going to go to and pay money to go to your class. Like calm down. But
it gets worse once you get up to the ladder too. Once you get to like big time comedy clubs, it's the same shit too. Like if you're doing like Bob's Comedy Club on Friday down the street, you're like shunned to do like, Mike's Comedy Club, because like it happens in Massachusetts. We have in Saugus, up near where me and Adam are, there's 2 comedy clubs. There's Kowloon's Comedy on one side of the road, and there's Prince Comedy on the other side of the road. And one sells Chinese food, the other sells Italian food, but they both have a comedy club there, and they both run it on same nights. But it's clicky because if you work one club, they almost never invite you over to the other club, and vice versa. And it's just like, it's like the war of the comedy clubs up there. It's like very little people, and you have to have like what do you call it? Like you have to be an allegiance to one
Mhm.
because you'll be shunned from both if you decide to cross over to the other side. It's
so
like
stupid.
it's so stupid. It's
Oh yeah, no, it's like that out here too. Like I feel because I would go to this one spot consistently, and like people didn't really care for the owner of the club. Like getting places spots at other places was like harder because they're like, oh, he's that type of club person, and I'm like, no, I'm just funny. Like
yeah.
I know I'm funny because I've worked with some people who are getting booked at other shows, and they've told me I'm funny. And one of the things that's a problem with me is like I'm a diva, so I don't like kissing people's asses in order to like get shows and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like I'm not gonna like a lot of shows would be like a lot of places would be like, oh yeah, if you go to this like other show, let me see if you can bring the heat there. And I'm like, but I worked with you, bro. Like I'm funny. I worked with you already. Why do I have to go through this just to get back to where I am when you already know I'm funny enough? And like I'm not like conceited or anything like that at all whatsoever. But it's like, but I know that my jokes are good enough to like not have to go and start all over again just to get on a show. So, but I know it's an ego thing.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you put the time in too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like it's like being like an athlete or something. You put all the time in, and then making you go play down with the friggin' junior varsity. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's like,
Uh-huh.
but so Adam changed his background. I noticed now he's in the Dev Star.
Yeah, messing around. Yeah.
Ben, I watched a little bit of your stand up. You're a little bit of a gamer nerd, I guess you could say that. Like you like to stick to sci-fi. I say that in the nicest way possible. Nothing, because Adam and I are very big nerds.
Oh, yeah, we're middle-aged nerds. Yeah.
We're huge nerds, and we embrace people who have hobbies of that nature, who are our age and have no, no. There you go. See,
Nice.
they're a cartoon now. Ooh, I like the lady in the back on the poster back there. What room is that? Is that any particular place? Or?
Steven Universe
Okay.
from
Nice.
off of Comedy Central.
Oh, yes. Okay. There you go. So there you go. So is that what you do full time? Are you in the computer field?
Oh yeah, I work in IT for a university. But yeah, I'm super huge nerd. Like I love all types of nerd stuff. It's ridiculous. Like one of the things like a caveat I told my wife, like, or not a caveat, but like a warning I told my wife when we first met is like, hey, like I look like I'm cool right now because you're meeting me outside at like a bar area where I'm trying to impress you, but I promise you the cool stops here. Like as soon as we get home and you get to know me, like I remember like telling her, it's like, yeah, like I play World of Warcraft, like I love comic books, I love video games. Like the cool is about as far as I was dressed. That's it. This is all facade. I'm a huge nerd.
No,
Guess where I am now? I'm on a porn set.
Porn set. I was gonna say, like, I like the cameras and everything. Yeah, I'm the same way. Adam's the same way as well. I have a very elaborate Lego collection. I have probably, like 500 different sets. I have a whole city in my basement. Adam is a big Funko Pop collector.
I collect the movie Funko Pops.
Yes, he likes. We have a buddy who's a big trading card collector. We gotta figure we're in our mid-30s there. He's like, but that's the thing too. Like you said, comics. Yeah. When me and my wife moved into our house, I had like Tupperware bins full of like my nerd stuff. I had like a comic book bin. I had like, and she's like, "What are you holding on to these for?" I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, "It's cool." I'm like, and like I don't do it for the money, and you guys probably don't do it for the worth of the money. You do it for the collection, the like to have and stuff, and if it's worth money someday at the end, great. If not, then it's just cool to have. But I always figure like later on, like my son, maybe he can make some use out of it someday when I die, or he could sell it, or I don't know. But it's cool to collect. I don't know. Comics were fun to collect when we were kids. I used to love them. It's just especially the series and everything. I was a big Beavis and Butthead comic. Was my first comic I ever got.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. It was issue 14, and I got it at a remember when hotels used to have gift shops back in the day?
Yeah.
Like it was at a Holiday Inn gift shop in a Rocky Mount Holiday Inn in North Carolina on my road trip home from Florida with my family. And I was like in 4th grade, and we went to the gift shop to like get some waters or something like that. And my mother was like, do you want to get a magazine or something like that? And I seen a comic book, and I was like, I wasn't allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead, but like I knew what Beavis and Butthead was, kind of thing. So I was like, can I get this? And my mother felt it was like, all right, I guess he's not watching this show, but whatever. And then I became addicted. And every month when they came out, I must have collected all the way to they stopped making them, like 40, 50, like like comic books of them, and I have them in mint condition and stuff like that. I just love it. That was the great, and it was like, this is the greatest thing ever. But like, it's something I still enjoy going back to at 36 years old to go look at them. You know what I mean?
There's actually one I have from back in the day that's still worth a lot of money. And believe it or not, it was my mom's, but she let me have it. You remember the Tick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the very first one.
Oh, nice.
I have Tick number 1. It's worth about $250, $300, maybe even a little more right now. It
It's like one of those things you'd probably never sell. You know what I mean? It's like, unless times got tough, you know. And
I might. I don't really read comics really anymore. It's not my thing. I like them, but it's just kind of like, it's just not my thing. Maybe someday I'll sell it. I don't know.
It's weird because I haven't been in the comic market in years, and I haven't been, but I don't know what the values are. I wonder if they're like baseball cards, which kind of dissolved their value over time. You know, I don't know.
It's worth a Google.
Yeah, I think it's like hit or miss sometimes, because like I don't know if you guys watch Gary Vee at all, but like he started collecting baseball cards and basketball cards again, and like selling them for pretty decent prices on eBay all of a sudden.
So back in like the 90s, early 90s and late 80s, when I started collecting cards, that's when the market was flooded. There was like 10 or 15 different companies that made cards, so they weren't really rare. And I know, like, you know, as the 90s went on to the late 90s, like the interest for cards kind of faded away, so a lot of these companies stopped making cards. And now, like you said, yeah, there is a little bit of, I think there's only like 3 or 4 companies that actually make baseball cards now. And so there is the rarity of getting a card. Like a buddy of ours, like I was saying, just got back into collecting cards and stuff. And he's been like digging into like the archives. And I remember you used to be able to get a bunch of cards for like nothing at like a yard sale or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like $5, you get like 1,000 cards, and it was a hit or miss if you got anything good in it. But now, like those, like that stuff might be kind of worth something. You know what I mean? It's just the value of it. You know, it's just kind of cool to have. Like,
yeah, I used to collect comic book cards. That's the one thing I would do. Like, I love reading the comic books, but I liked drawing, so I'd always collect the comic book cards just to try to draw the characters on the comic book cards.
Yeah,
and I got a pretty good amount of them, but I've never checked to see if they're worth anything now. They're just in decent condition. But
do you have any kids?
Yeah, I have 2 stepsons and 2 daughters.
There you go.
My daughters are nerds, so I'm sure, like, if they saw it, they'd be excited about it,
Mm-hmm.
but they want to play with it. And like, I'm not a collector, but I'm like, no, they've been this good for this long. Don't touch them. Don't touch them. Just look at them. That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's like a conversation you have with your kids too. And like you finally get to the point where you're handing stuff down to them, you gotta be like, listen, it's like you got to do what you got to do with these things, but just remember the value that, it's more of a priceless emblem that your father has given to you. So just take that in consideration before you go sell it, you know, for, you know, a trip to Florida on spring break or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, like we go to a Comic-Con out here in Arizona and actually run I do a comedy show out there where like basically anybody who's a nerd can tell their most nerdiest jokes, and like it's gonna hit all the time.
Yeah.
But I always take my kids there afterwards. Like we go down and we see the costumes and we go purchase stuff. And my 11-year-old daughter, she was like 6 at the time. She wanted to buy something from Dragon Ball Z, which is just like one of the Dragon Balls.
Yep.
And I was like, why do you want that? She's like, to play with. Like, no, baby, that's just to look at. Like, if you purchase that, it's not to roll around. Like, enjoying that Dragon Ball. Like, that's all you're doing. Like, let's find something that you can play with.
Mm-hmm.
Not something you're going to ruin that should have just been sitting there for you to enjoy.
So you do the comedy show during the Comic-Con when you out in Arizona? Like, that's the theme?
Yeah. Like,
when is it typically?
Basically, we do, what do you do? Oh, yeah. So basically, they have like different conferences that you can have during Comic-Con. So they have the main people come in, like the main celebrities and like things like that. But then they have like small off like different conferences and things like that other people can do that are local, and they have a whole bunch of different things. So one of my friends was like, you should do a comedy show at one of these things. Like, oh, cool. So I did it because if you volunteer or do a show, you get a free ticket to Comic-Con. And I was like, sweet, I'll take a free ticket. And then I just find people who also like or just enjoy the nerdy stuff and will just be fine with a free ticket. And then we just go and we just tell all types of jokes, nerdy, non-nerdy. But like usually every time that I've done the show, like we'll get easily for a free show where like we just basically people just show up if they want to come to it. We usually get 200 or 300 people in the audience, and they're all just there to have a good time and just enjoy laughing. It's one of the funnest shows that I do each year.
When is what time of year is typically the Comic-Con in Phoenix?
It's usually May.
Okay.
Like right around the end of May, like either right before or after Memorial Day.
You guys having it this year, or has it been? Yeah.
I don't know yet because
Yeah.
COVID was crazy in the first place, but then Arizona just doesn't give a fuck. So like right
Well, that's
now,
it. Yeah. You guys might just do it anyways. You know what I mean?
yeah. So I hope not.
Awesome.
Even if they did, my wife right now, because she's so like germophobic and afraid of this stuff,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do like that. Like I'm starting to try to do shows again coming up like in March or April, but like something that big with all those people, I'd be like, nah, I'll wait.
So how is it out in Arizona? So like I know it's you guys are similar to like kind of Florida. Is you guys kind of relaxed a lot of your restrictions and kind of did some stuff. But so can you do comedy there, or is it kind of?
Oh yeah, they're doing comedy. I haven't gone to any shows yet.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of my friends doing comedy, and I know where like at least what I've seen is like the host will come up there, and then the host will like wipe the mic off, and they have like limited seating, and it's spread apart and things of that sort. One of the most interesting ones I saw was it was almost like a drive-in theater. Everybody was in their cars,
Yeah.
and they had like big speakers out, and they did the comedy show like on something like a lift, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good idea. That's pretty cool. But,
cool. Yeah. Yeah. Up here, no comedy shows inside. One of the restaurants that I talked to the Prince earlier, they did an outdoor one in a tent. So like it was weird. So you could eat out like for a period of time you couldn't eat inside a building in Massachusetts, and then it was like a restriction where you could have like X amount of people. So they did this thing where like so they got a way of having comedy shows if they did it in the tent in the parking lot of the place, so they could space people out, which made no sense to me because they ended up putting walls around the tent anyways to break the breeze out. So it was like you might as well be in a nicely circulated air building than outside in a tent in a closed area. But I don't make the rules. Adam and I still try to figure out where they come up with the rules and how the restrictions happen.
I don't understand them.
It is what it is. But that's how they got away of doing comedy up in Massachusetts. Did you do any Zoom comedy shows over the
No, I just imagine Zoom comedy is almost the same thing as like trying to do porn over Zoom. Like just like how is it possible? Because like the laughter, like we're doing Zoom now, and like I feel bad, like I feel like I'm interrupting you while you're talking. So imagine like telling a joke and then you just stopping because you're waiting to hear if people are laughing or not.
Yeah.
And then after that, you go back to your joke, but then someone's still laughing, so then their face pops up on the Zoom because you don't know what's happening.
Oh, so I did a show. I was doing through the Laughing Buddha Comedy Club in New York. They did they did a couple of Zoom shows. I don't even know if they're still doing it. They did it for like a couple of weeks, but then I didn't hear any more from it. So I don't think it worked out very well. But so basically, so to avoid that issue, I did like the gallery of the screen. So I had everyone's up there, but they would mute everyone except for the person doing comedy. So you would sit there and you tell your jokes, but you couldn't get any reactions because even if they were laughing, you could just see them laughing. You couldn't hear them laugh.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
That sucks.
And I went over.
Like, the laughter is like what gets me going. Like as soon as I hear the good laughter, I'm like, okay, I got him.
I went over every single time because there's no way to keep track of time. You have no time and you have no rhythm. I mean, and I even tried to take it a step further. Like I stood up, I brought a mic upstairs, like with a stand, and I adjusted my camera. So I was like, I try to psychologically picture myself on stage, and I would go through the same muscle memory that I would, like grabbing the mic, holding the mic stand, sitting there, looking out to the crowd, even dim the lights behind my camera to try to give an effect. And it was every time it was a hit and miss. I was like swinging at air. You know what I mean? It was just like I couldn't get the rhythm. I couldn't feel it. I was getting red light and disconnected sometimes because if you go too far over, they just like mute you.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it was rough. And I did it 3 times, and I said, "Fuck it, I can't do it anymore. I need to see people." I mean, we all got into comedy at one point or another to pick up chicks. I mean, I joined the radio station at college because I thought it would pick up chicks. I think guys do anything. I mean, the whole reason we do anything in life is to try to pick up a chick.
I mean, for the most part, that's absolutely true.
Then you get married, and it's just like, well, I guess can't pick up a chick anymore, but at least they can make them laugh. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the closest thing I can get to it. But then when you quarantine, you can't go out. It takes all that motivation away from you.
Oh, I know. It's just
like Adam, you explained to us, like he was a single guy during quarantine for a little while, and he was the dating world. It's tough. Like you got to run into certain people. Like
really, but like it's just everyone's kind of trying to feed off of each other to try to hear somebody else's kind of story.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it boils down to. You know?
I'm thinking more or less like the interaction. Like there's some people that want to meet, some that don't want to meet. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
because big is you respect the people's, if they're scared, I guess, whatever, or they're cautious of what they want to do. Fine, that's whatever. But it's just like I'm very little cautious, I guess you could say. I'm responsible to a point, but I'm not like overly like I'm wearing like a hazmat suit walking down the street. I don't know how it is in Arizona. In Boston, they say they want us to wear a mask when we're walking down the street. I never do it. I work with Adam. He never does. We're in the same office together, so it's unnecessary for us to wear a mask to Dunkin' Donuts. We're in Dunkin' Donuts, but we require us to. But we're not going to walk down the friggin' street. But there's people that walk down the street like they're going to the moon. Like you think they're like lunar lander just landed on the street and they just got off and they're like, don't know what's in here.
It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, that's my family is kind of like that. They're like we go jogging and we'll wear a mask, but we wear them because like where we go jogging, there's like a whole bunch of gnats. But like people will look at us and they'll look at them like, oh, you're that family, and it's kind of like a well, we're just trying not to swallow bugs while we're jogging or walking, but sure, whatever, who cares?
Well, I do appreciate the mask the last few months because it's been very, very cold up here. So it actually does help protect the face. So I am taking advantage of that issue. But like, oh, man, I can only imagine what it's like in Arizona when it's like 110 degrees outside and they're telling you to wear a mask when you go somewhere and you're like dying.
Oh yeah. Like you're all of a sudden you're like, my mustache is sweating. What's happening right now?
So did you, I don't know if you're political, you follow anything politics wise, but Arizona, that was a crazy state during the election, huh?
Oh man, it was just so intriguing because like two of the guys that I work with, they're both more on the conservative side, and I'm kind of like in the middle where like I can see some things good on both sides. So I kind of like I'm just like, okay, I'll sit here because like some of the extreme stuff on the left side's crazy, some extreme stuff on the right side's crazy, and I'm just kind of like I'll sit here. But to watch them, like at least they were kind of like not to the point where they're saying, oh yeah, man, this is rigged. Like how's this crazy? It's more like all of a sudden people just decide, you know what, we still like this dude. So they decided the only way to get rid of him is to vote. So that's just what happened. And
I guess that's a product too of Arizona too. I guess people don't really realize that like a lot of people escape in California, but they leave California, they go to Arizona, but their political views aren't changing when I guess border. So and that's what happened in Georgia too. I mean, a lot of people moving from the north going down to the south, but their political views aren't changing. So they're going to vote for the same way they were voting for before, I guess. Yeah. But I think Adam and I are exactly like you. We're kind of in the middle. We're just not one way or another. There's a lot of things we were talking too about. Like a third party would be ideal because it would be both the best of both worlds. Like you take and like I think a lot of people would get on board, but it's like something that's so new. People would be so scared to kind of like do. You know what I mean? To commit.
To it's hard for people to take that seriously. Yeah. It's sad, but it's true.
But right now it's like you have to be one way or the other, and it's like no, like there's good parts of both if you just sit down and listen.
Absolutely. The extremists are just fucking crazy. The extreme right or extreme left, they scare the fuck out of me. Both
me too.
And I haven't really. Well, I guess we were talking earlier about there's an extreme lefty that hates our show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's had a vendetta out for us for 4 years with a cease and desist order and such of that nature. Wow. But every once in a while, we like to check out her Twitter account to see how angry she is about everything.
Yeah, she has calmed it down a little bit, I would say, over the course of a couple of months. I think somebody got to her, like maybe her employers were like, "Can you?"
Yeah, the last 4 years. So I figured, well, what's she so mad about now? If the last 4 years she was so angry, she has the House, she has the Senate, she has the presidency. So how could you possibly be mad at anything? But she still finds things to be mad at. So.
That's just society in general today. Like they just want to be mad about everything, and it's like, well, why? Why are we just so upset all the time? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Doesn't life feel so much better when the stress level is kind of like to a very minimum?
Yeah.
Arty. You're stuck. Lately, you've been up there.
I have certain triggers. Certain things that I said that bring me from like a 2 to like an 11. Like instantaneously. Patrick Mahomes talk pisses me off. I hate him, and that'll ruin my day right there. That's the newest one. They've been using it in the office to get me going. I'll be sitting there just chill, just enjoying life, And then like Patrick Mahomes gets mentioned. Or there's this guy that does there's these two radio guys in the Boston area. One does mornings, one does afternoons. And I despise both of them. And the names get mentioned, it ruins my day. Like, I just throw everything up in the air. But for the most part, I feel like I'm mostly calm these days. You know, I feel stressed. I just got to worry about the mortgage, you know, making sure my kid's fed. And once beyond that, and I know that I can accomplish that goal for the month, I mean, where else am I going to get mad at this point, right? You know what I mean? It's like, you know.
Yeah, like I don't have, like, I think the things that trigger me are normally like when my kids like will say something and you're just like, you could not have possibly heard the words just came out of your mouth right now because they don't make any sense. Because like I have an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old, they're in that age where like they always feel like, you know, they're going to tell you what they're going to do. And I'm like, I don't know if you realize this or not, but I'm still black and I have no problem fucking a kid up real quick. If you talk to me like that, like you need to understand when I say do something, I'm not a drill sergeant where you need to say how high or right immediately, but like within the next couple of minutes, you need to show that you're about to do what I asked you to do.
Yeah.
There's going to be problems.
Oh man, I'm about a decade away from that.
Oh man.
But I'm not looking forward to it. I think God bless you, because I think the age that you're dealing with right now is probably the toughest.
Oh yeah.
Because when they're kids, they'll listen to you when they're little, like, right? But when they get to that age, like between the tweens, the teens, going into, they think like, you know, they've somehow got this like boost of confidence.
Oh, I know.
They think they can just rule the world.
Yeah. And then like my 14-year-old stepson, like he's super smart, but he's smart to the point where he thinks he's the smartest in the house. And I gotta be like sometimes I like to like knock him down and be like, bro, like I need you to know that at 14, I was in the same classes that you were in. Like just because you're in the higher classes doesn't mean anything. It's like I was asleep in these classes and still got A's. Like you're not on my level.
And knock him down a little bit, you know.
Got to.
Which is very helpful in the long run, because I feel like if kids get that kind of that leadership to being brought back down to a level of like normalcy, will actually help them later on in life, because they won't be a cocky prick going into college thinking they know the world is one way or another. They'll actually have a little bit of like, their mind will open up a little bit. You know what I mean? They'll be able to see both sides of the story.
Yeah, like there's a running joke we have in the house with him, just me and him. Like where I'll walk in his room and like, hey, just in case you didn't know today, you ain't shit. And I'll just walk out. So, and he laughs at it. He knows I'm joking, but at the same time, it's like, you know, just in case you were floating high today, I'm gonna bring you down just a little bit, because the world will do that to you. So, you know, prepare when you get out in the real world and people are like, oh, you're smart, huh? Okay, guess what? I checked my pocket. I don't got no fucks to give. So, what are you gonna do?
Well, hey, that's the best athletes are like that too, right? Because you think people always saying you suck, you're terrible. I mean, look at like Tom Brady or like LeBron James and players like that. People always saying like, oh, you suck, you're not that good, blah, blah, blah. And what do they do? Go out there and like win a championship. And it's like, well, fuck you. That's their ultimate fuck you right there.
Yeah.
Is doing it. So, yeah, you have to get checked sometimes. But because otherwise you're like Kyrie Irving, that people in your entire life told you were great and awesome, and then you can't handle real world experiences. So, I mean, that's not good for anyone. I'd rather have a competitive kid that gets, you know, people talking shit to, that they're able to kind of respond to in a positive way, than Kyrie Irving, who's just your entire life been put on this pedestal. But that's just our personal in Denver, because we thought he was, when he came to Boston for that, 2 seasons, we were like, oh, this is great. We had a key player, and then he became a prick. So we kind of like bad taste in him.
I know, and I wonder what happened to it too. Like I'm not a LeBron James fan, but like when he was on the Cavaliers, I was like, okay, cool. Like he seemed like a humble kid. Like he's gonna do well. And then
I guess on the Cavs, he wanted to be number one. He thought, because he was talked up his entire life like he was number one. But then he goes and plays with LeBron, who clearly is number one. And that's like being talked up your entire life, then going to a job and like, you know, you think you're going to be the vice president, but you end up cleaning the bathrooms. You know what I mean? It's like, well, reality check right there. And I don't think he psychologically could handle that. And I think that's what fucked him up. And so then he just wanted to leave Cleveland to get away from LeBron. And LeBron's like, well, I don't know what the fucking problem is. We're doing great, but whatever, because I can do it by myself. You know, everyone needs a Pippen. Jordan had Pippen. You know, that was LeBron's Pippen. But he goes to Boston and he becomes the number one, but doesn't know how to handle it or doesn't want it. So it's like, well, what did you really want? Did you want the number one, or did you not number one? Like, it's like, because you clearly can't be a number one here because you're not leading like a number one. You have these rookies who are pretty much doing the job for you that you should be doing, and no one respects you, and now you're just a whiny bitch, and no one in the city likes you because that's the way Boston sports are. People get very angry at players who don't want to fucking fall in line. But
good.
what do they do? They shift. Oh, I guess he left on his own force, but they should have fucking traded him. And long story. That's another episode for another day.
Oh yeah, I know.
We could go on and on this one.
Yeah.
Oh man. But all right. So Ben, what are you working on? Do you have any projects you're working on? Do you have a website and we can come check your stuff out? Where can we find the comedy styles of Ben Lewis?
So I do have a website, just benlewiscomedy.com. I actually am starting a nerd podcast with one of my friends. Our first episode is supposed to go up tomorrow, I think. And the first episode, in all honesty, is all over the place. Like it's supposed to be nerd related, but you can tell they're two people who just haven't learned how to hone it in yet. So it's all over God's creation.
Nice.
So other than that, not doing anything until hopefully like March or April. Start doing some comedy again.
Yeah, knock on wood. I think I think the light is at the end of the tunnel for this fucking craziness this year. Hopefully, so
I think so.
It's summertime. I'm rooting for June 1st for life to be back to normal here. So I think it's gonna be after July 4th, just because they'll try to reduce the crowds after July 4th, and then July 5th the gates will open up. But I'm striving for early spring here. So let's see what happens.
We'll see.
All right, man. Well, awesome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Very
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. It was nice to meet you, Ben.
I'm
nice to meet you guys too.
actually very interested in this nerd comedy thing you guys going through Comic-Con out in Arizona. And when shit gets better, I am going to contact you because I want to check this fucking thing out.
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually, I'm trying to think. I might actually have a couple videos up on YouTube.
Okay.
And they're, like I said, I have a couple other friends who do it as well, and they tell me every year like that's the most fun they have at a show every single time is just going to Comic-Con and then just telling the nerdiest jokes possible.
Yeah. I dig it. I think it's gonna be fun. We'll stay in touch.
All right, sounds good.
All right, brother. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me. You go. Take it easy.
What? Yeah, there we go. Someday I'll figure this out. All right, Ben Lewis from Arizona.
Yeah, he's cool.
Delaware. Currently, he was cool. He was cool to talk to. He's a fun guy.
Very cool guy. We've lucked out lately. We haven't had any really.
Sometimes maybe we need that to check our egos a little bit.
Yeah, our egos. I know, but like I feel like I need somebody to kind of go off on. The other guy diffused. The first guy we had on that was a comedian.
That's
was
right.
Like, what's up?
And that was our first guest in a while. Which I think you were sharp though because you were ready to go. You had that one in the chamber.
Yeah, I just kind of shut him down. I didn't fight back. I just shut him down.
Which is cool. He ended up being cool.
Yeah, he ended up being cool. I think like I said, at that time, I think he was just not sure how to handle what to do. So he thought he was on. That's it. Yeah.
No, he was. Yeah, exactly. He thought he was on a performance. And listen, on the Arty 84 show, if I had him out, no one's on. Everyone's on.
Chill.
Yeah, we're just drinking, having a good time,
having a conversation. It's just relaxing, man. It's all about.
So next week on the show, we have Hendren Seavey joining us. So that'll be cool. Another comic. So it's nice that we're getting guests. We were doing pretty good. We had a little guy who used to book for us, and he was cool. And I don't know what happened, but
disappeared.
Yeah, but
the part's unknown.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was cool, but we'll just figure it out here. So it's nice because Adam and I see each other 40 hours a week. In close proximity to each other. So when we have to do an additional hour, it's kind of trying sometimes. So if we don't have anyone to talk to, it could just be a little.
It could, because the thing is too, sometimes we talk in the morning and and then in my head, I'm like, why are we talking about this? And we could be talking about it like later. Some of the good stuff is used up.
Yeah. Like today when I showed them the video. So I found this video online. Actually, I got it I was watching In Hot Water on the Anthony Cumia network, the Compound network. And In Hot Water showed a video of how do I describe it? It was a skateboard with a dildo duct tape to the front of it. And the skateboard had wheels that lit up. And there was a dude riding said skateboard with the dildo in the front. And then there was a dude on his hands and knees with his butt spread open for said dildo to intercept.
Some
And
people might call that art.
I watched that video over and over and over again. It was like it's like a 5-second clip. And you just go, ooh, rewinds. Ooh. I don't know who thought of it, why anyone thought of it, or why anyone thought it was a good idea. But
It sounds like the kind of thing if you lost a bet. That's what it kind of looks like.
yeah, it did not look comfortable at all. And I had just recently gone number 2, and I was still had some post-traumatic threat. That was PTSD.
Post-traumatic threat.
Post-traumatic threat, yeah. PSD. Post-traumatic disorder. Is that what it is? Post-traumatic distress?
PTSD, post-traumatic distress disorder, right? PTSD.
PTSD.
I just say PTSD.
I don't even know what I say half the time. To be honest with you. It's going to be a rough day tomorrow, I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I'm
feeling it. I'm already tired. I feel like ass.
I did about a third of a bottle of wine during the show.
Oh, shit.
Cheap wine. The $7 special at Target. And probably
didn't learn your lesson last week, so that means you're going to be really quiet in the morning, pretty much, right?
Probably be quiet till lunchtime. Probably. Yeah. Then I got to work tomorrow night too, so that's just going to really upset me. So, last night at that place, so thank God. It's been driving me crazy, but another time for another time. But thank you guys all there for watching. Adam, you plugging anything? What do you get working on? Just
you can always check out the Whirlwind Potato. It's there.
Hanging in the back of the Death Star there. Haven't posted any videos on the Whirlwind Potato, but you're still getting views. Yeah. Lots of views.
I get comments every day.
I was going to say, I check you on the Social Blade, and I see that it's quite busy.
I haven't looked. I haven't paid attention. I haven't paid attention to any of that.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes you don't care. That actually works out for your benefit sometimes.
Maybe it does. I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
And, of course, you can get me on the, obviously, the Arty 84 show on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube. Get the show here. Watch us. There all the episodes, all our guests. And you can also check myself, my wife, and my child and our YouTube page, The Wicked Explorers, where we explore stuff. We do. A lot of dead malls, if you like that stuff. So that's cool. And stuff of that nature. But, yeah, so thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys next week. Same bad time. Same bad channel. Hello, motherfuckers. Bye.